Hi, I'm gonna do a video not on Jimmy Stewart. Cause I watched my 14th Jimmy Stewart film 2 days ago. I watched the man who shot Liberty Valance, as well as John Wayne, and it has Lee Marvin, and so good, so good. I watched it on Netflix, and John Wayne and Jimmy Stewart. I mean, yeah, they were both like top of the top of actors, and they worked together, and it was great. Um, Jimmy did a lot more westerns than I thought he did, and I'm excited to watch him more. I think the biggest like western star that they had was John Wayne. I don't know of many. I mean, I can't think of bigger uh, Western star than him. Maybe there was, but I don't know them. I don't know who that would be. I guess Jimmy Stewart too, because he was also in a lot of westerns, but he wasn't like a Western movie star. It was all John Wick. You can say like, oh, there's all these big movie stars like Humphrey Bogart and of course Jimmy Stewart and Cary Grant, and like they did comedy and they did drama, but John Wayne had the Western movie genre, like that was his genre, and I feel like if you got to work with John Wayne, that would have must have been like a huge honor to do a Western with him because that was his thing. That was his. He had like that was his expertise and life. So I feel like if you're going to work with anyone, we're going to work with anyone in Western, that would be like the top, the ultimate thing to work with him. And I love the chemistry between Jimmy and John. I thought they had great chemistry. Um, and so yeah, but Jimmy Stewart, great human, great actor. He was very interesting because he did a lot of dramas. I think, I don't know how many comedies he actually did, but he did a lot of dramas. But then you watch him in comedies, and he was so good. He was so funny, and he was so lighthearted and fun and silly and carefree, and it's interesting. Like you watch him in like all these serious movies, and he's so good at it. You see him in these comedies, and he's so good at them. He could do romantic comedy. He was just like he could do anything. He could play anything. He was a war veteran. He was a very decorated soldier. And he was in the war before he was an actor, so yeah, there you go. And fun fact, he was out of the war when It's a Wonderful Life was being filmed. He had just gone out of fighting in World War II and shot It's a Wonderful Life. He wasn't sure who was gonna act anymore, and then he got the script for that, and he felt like it was like perfect because he was back from a war. But he felt a guilt. A lot of actors that were in the army and not in the army, they kind of felt guilt because they felt like they weren't really doing anything. They were making movies and they weren't really contributing to what was going on, and he felt guilty. He had been in the army and he saw his friends die. He saw so much, and he just felt like him acting wasn't a good thing anymore. But he did it, and then that movie flopped. Wonderful Life was such a big flop when it came out. It failed, and they were so embarrassed by the movie. But we watch it now. It's great. Jimmy Stewart lived long enough to see that people actually liked that movie, so that was good. He got to be like, okay, well, it wasn't bad. It wasn't a bad movie after all. Because the thing is back then they only showed movies once, so that was the problem. Like, if no one, like, not enough people went to see it, then that was it, and it was considered a flop. They did not play them again. Um, it happened with the Jane Oliver Keaton, which just showed his career. The Full Life did not destroy Jimmy Stewart's career, but it was not good for him. It was not a good time. There's a scene in the movie where he's at the bar and he starts crying. Jimmy Stewart was actually crying. That was him crying in that scene because he was so overwhelmed by everything. So he started crying. Jimmy Stewart crying makes me want to cry. He was just such a sweet person, and if he got hurt, his feelings hurt in a movie, or people mistreated him, or they like make fun of him, or they're just like he's not being treated the way you should treat Jimmy Stewart. It upsets me. It really upsets me so much. I'm like, I feel so protective of him in a weird way. Like, I'm like, you don't be mean to Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart, you just can't do that. It's not right. Don't make him cry. It's not right. Like, it's just what goes to Washington. Yeah, that movie makes me cry because he cries at the monument. That makes me cry every time. I don't like to see him sad. So yeah, I just love him. I think he's one of the greatest actors of all time. And I've seen 14 movies now. I need to see a lot more of his. I think my favorite Jimmy Stewart film that I've seen so far would have to be Anatomy of a Murder. I loved that. I need to own that at some point. I love that movie. If you haven't seen that, you need to see that movie. And I also love Harvey. I wish he had gotten a chance to work with Audrey Hepburn because they were really good friends in real life. I don't know why he never did it. I think they would have made a great pairing. But anyway, tell me your favorite Jimmy Stewart movie if you have one, because he's great. And I'm gonna talk to you later.